Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series about Venice in Italy. My name is Monica Cesarato and I am a Venetian food and travel blogger. I'm going to put my insider knowledge at your disposal to help you discover Venice at 360 degrees. Each week, I will be chatting to the people who really matter, the Venetian. So follow me on the discovery of its artisans, writers, fashion designers, artists, glassmakers, bloggers, and much, much more. Come to visit Venice the right and sustainable way. You can find me on my blog www.monicacesarato.com and also on all social media. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to Venice Talks, episode number 12. This episode is sponsored by Alessia Fuga. Alessia is a world-renowned bead maker and Murano glass artist. You can find her on the island of Murano in her atelier or at www.alessiafuga.com and on all social medias as Alessia Fuga. Hello everybody, and we are back with another episode of Venice Talks. Today, I have the immense honor to talk to Marco Secchi, world-renowned photographer and one of my favorite person from Venice. Ciao Marco, how are you?
Hello, hi everybody. Hi Monica. It's a pleasure to talk to you and to be here. And thank you very much for having me here.
Yes, so nice. Also because we don't get to see each other very often anymore because you decided to go somewhere else and live, didn't you? You're in Slovenia right now, are you?
Yes, I live now between half time in Slovenia and half time in Venice, but I will be back in Venice for 6 months starting on Saturday, the day after tomorrow.
That's nice.
So we will see each other once again.
Definitely. Okay, first of all, let's talk about you. Who is Marco Secchi?
Okay. I'm a photojournalist. I've been working as a photojournalist for many, many years. And
can we say how many years or not?
Ever.
Forever.
Yes.
Well, let's say decades. Okay, decades.
Several. Yes, I'm not as young as you.
No.
And I've been represented for the last 23, 24 years by Getty Images. So I work for them. And I generally tend to cover breaking news and feature mainly around Europe.
Okay. How did you develop this passion that obviously must start first, I assume, as an hobby and then it became your work?
Yes, more or less. Let's say then when I was at university, I started to like very much photography, or more than photography, journalism and video journalism. So that is the way I started. And then from there, I moved from video to photography. At the time, of course, was analogic, was film. And then, of course, I moved to digital photography, and I tend to do 99% photo and maybe 1-2% video. So we are not, Getty is not one of these agencies that impose or ask you to shoot video. So I much prefer photography than video. It's just a personal choice. And what I like really is more photojournalism, to tell a story, to tell what is happening in a country or around the world, more than other kind of photography. My passion is really photojournalism.
So I assume Venice inspired you, but in a different way, not as it inspires maybe other photographers that just take the pictures of a city because it's beautiful. I assume maybe it was more the people that interested you.
Yes, more the people, more the situation. Of course, Venice I think every city in some way is unique. Venice, of course, is more unique than other several ways. But my passion has been always to tell more of a story in depth, if I was able to tell the story. So I've done several features on artisans in Venice, or Venice with the fog, or building gondolas. So generally try to tell really something in particular that it was specific of Venice. And I try always in my images to include the people, because to me, very often we will talk later about photo walk and workshop, but very often you meet people that when they take a picture, they don't like to have any person, anybody, their image. For me,
got to say, I'm one of those.
No,
and I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why, because usually I'm not very good at taking photos of people. That's why. That's all.
I think that, I don't know, I would say maybe it's 50-50 generally. I am one of these persons that prefer to have somebody in the picture, not necessarily in the front or in the main part of the picture, but I like always to have somebody just to show what they do or where they are going, because to me it makes the picture come alive. So
I was about to say
that is my idea.
It is a tridimensional, that kind of round part of a photo that comes out when you have people,
exactly.
I suppose.
Yes.
And I got to say, I'm more of a photo lover than an art lover. I got to say, if you tell me, would you like to go to a painting show or to a photo show? Hands down, straight away, photo show. And I got to admit, I do prefer to go to those exhibitions where I know that there's going to be photographers that take photos of people. Okay, it's just me. Personally, I don't like taking, because I know that I usually always manage to catch people in the wrong way. So I feel like, oh gosh, they're gonna hate me. So I always wait for people to disappear from my picture and then I take it. But I think I saw some at Treocchi, I saw some amazing, and I adore black and white pictures. I think there's so much more, I don't know.
I agree with you. It tells more a story.
They are more atmospheric. I don't know. There is something particular about black and white photos. They make it timeless in a way.
It's true. It is true. But there are so many aspects of photography, because you meet people that they take only picture of wild animals, then people are passionate about architecture, then landscape. So there are so many, and that is what I like in photography, because you can space and move around, and that is what I really like.
Who inspired you of the great photographers?
Probably the one that is more renowned is Berengo Gardino, of course. That is and then a few of even older Italian, like Morabito or Frezzari. So that are the ones that really inspired me when I was
Did you get to meet any of them?
Berengo Gardini, yes, several times, and yes, in Milan, when I was in Milan, yes, a lot of time, yes. I worked a little bit with him.
All right. That must have been
around him, yes.
Oh my God, that must have been so impressive.
But again, was several decades ago, so he wasn't the one that is now. It was a different time.
I just love this. I mean, I love his photos. See, that's he can definitely take pictures of people without them knowing. Absolutely. And he takes them well. I do it.
Yes.
And if you think, I actually never told you, Marco, but my dad is a photographer. That's the worst part. He's a very good photographer. Sorry?
I think you mentioned it once.
Yeah, but he does astronomical pictures. He's very good at taking, the weather events and stuff. He's amazing. I don't know how he does it. He managed to catch all this lightning and stuff. And I'm like, what? I don't even see the lightning. Never mind catch.
But like we were saying before, there are so many aspects, Astrophotography is another big part. So interesting.
Yeah. So, we were talking before, so you work for Getty, but a few years ago you also started Awakening. What is Awakening?
Okay, Awakening is, and mainly was when I started it, was with a few other photographers from Venice, was like a collective of photographers, because what I found was that it became more and more difficult for young photographers to be able to have their images seen
Okay.
and to be taken into consideration by big agencies or any kind of agency. So I wanted to try to help young photographers to try to find a way. So Awakening started in two different branches, two different ways. One was we were covering many social issues, like in Venice, for example, the big ships, the cruises, the problem for housing. And we were printing very large posters, like 4 meter by 3, and put them in strategic places of different cities, always without sticking them, of course, on walls. So we were using like scaffolding or wooden places that were like warehouses or buildings, but never on buildings or private buildings. And the idea was, from one side, to highlight, because if you think, you don't see very often big poster like billboards dealing with social issue.
Absolutely. Well, you got to pay for it.
Yes,
so
exactly.
And usually when you do that, you don't have money.
You don't. So we are used to see advertising, of course, everywhere, but not black and white images first, and not dealing with social issues. So one was this idea to highlight social problem in this way. And the other part was to give the possibility to young photographers to display their images. Because once again, if you think from the side of a photographer, it's very unlikely that a photographer has got images so large, 3 meter by 4 printed. Because the majority of us have picture on, even when it's on a newspaper, at the best of the best is a double spread.
Yeah, of course. Also because you have to be careful with the resolution.
The resolution, but also because generally the images are bought by papers, magazines, or books. So nobody is, as a photographer, is used to have a social editorial images on billboard. So that was the idea.
And so much visibility, because one thing is seen on a newspaper, one thing everybody sees it.
Exactly. And it's a very democratic way to show your image. So
of course.
This was one part. And the second part, as I was saying before, to act as an agency. And we were dealing once again with Getty Images. So the people that joined Awakening, they were, most of them, having their images distributed by Getty Images through Awakening. So it was my idea to do something, because this has something to do with the UK, because as you know, I lived and worked in the UK for many, many years. And what I found that is different from Italy, at least at the time, was that when I moved to the UK, there were many photographers that were coming to help me in different way, giving me contacts, ideas, name of editor or agencies. And I like it very, very much. Where in Italy, I don't know if it was something...
networking, that horrible word. We don't use it in Italy.
Yes, exactly. Generally, it's very difficult if you ask someone and say, oh, do you know someone? And they will
I
say,
think also,
no way,
Marco,
I don't.
Venice, even more so. It's,
because it's smaller, yes.
Yeah, it's even worse. Okay.
But let's not go into that part.
Yeah, let's not talk about that side of Venice.
But that is what I wanted to do. So I wanted to give something back in that way too, because I was helped a lot.
Did you have any problem? Because so for people listening in Italy, generally, not just Venice, in Italy, you cannot go and stick things around walls without paying a tax. So did you have any problem from the
No, we didn't
authority?
have any problem, and even we had a few complaints, of course, from the police and from the town hall, but they were, I must say, okay. Even the mayor in some way, I would say they accepted it and they didn't create any major problem. We were never being fined. Not, in some city, we worked with the authority, like in Bologna, we worked with the authorities. Or,
that is good, because that means you're collaborating. And
also they were picking them on their places and they were paying for them. In Venice, we never did it, also because we were mainly against
of course,
the authority, the municipality, especially with the big ships and the housing issues, but they never did anything against us.
Do you think you will do it again now that you're back?
I hope so.
Awakening 2?
I very much
2.1?
would like to do it. Yes.
Yeah, because there are other issues at the moment. No, I think,
yes,
you know why?
Because I learned a lot. And, I think you always learn something. And from that experience and from the people that were with me in Awakening 1, I learned a lot. So I would like to do it better.
Yeah. Also because unfortunately the problems are still here.
Yes, I know.
A few years have gone by.
It's like if I didn't move away.
I know. Listen, I would like to talk to you about your photo walks, and then I got a few questions instead to go back about your work as a photographer. So when did you actually decide with, is a group of you people, or is it just you and Stefano doing the photo walks?
At the beginning, I started when I was back in Venice in 2010, so I was working for Getty, but I had a lot of free time and actually started with Getty because Getty asked me if I was able to take some of their clients to show Venice from a photography point of view. That is how it really started. And then I started to do it more professionally and more open and advertising. So my idea was, because there have been always, even in Venice, photography workshop. So with photography workshop, I mean something where you deal more with the photography aspect than with the city. So can be the same, can be in Ljubljana, can be in Venice, can be in Turin. You give to the person a lesson about photography. The photo work.
And the lesson can be at all levels, even somebody that can just about hold the camera.
Just to start or a professional. Where in Venice, I think because, as I was saying before, it's much more unique than other places. I thought it would have been better to do something a little bit lighter, where more people would have been able to join, or especially husband and wife, because maybe one of the two is passionate about photography, but the other one is not.
Exactly.
And to follow a workshop is heavy if you are not interested in photography. Where a photo work is much more light. You go around and you deal more with composition or showing to them in a short period of time, 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours. Some places or area where there is the best light at that time of the day, or that you have found, or that they will probably, I mean, to be honest, there are no secret places in Venice. Come on.
Don't you just love it when people write to you, I would like to go and see the authentic Venice, or the places where the tourist don't go.
Exactly. But in 3 hours, one person that coming to Venice for 1 or 2 days maybe is not able to find as many if he comes around with me, because I know the best places with the best light. So maybe I'll go to that side of Rialto early morning, or the other side late afternoon. So the idea was to develop this concept of a light photography workshop in Venice, and I call it photo walk. So for several years, I was on my own. Then few people came to help me, and at the moment is mainly in the hand of Stefano Mazzola and Simone Padovani. So they are the two really doing the hard work and the workshops in Venice.
And you're talking about light. That was very interesting because I follow, I'm friends with Stefano on Facebook,
Yes.
so I see his comment, and generally he starts posting at around 6 o'clock in the morning. So I
Yes.
assume the time of the photo walks are definitely not the middle of the day, because that's the worst light, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Generally, we tend, if it's a normal photo walk, we start 7, 8. During some of season like spring
Mm-hmm.
and winter, you can start even at 9. In winter, really you can start any time of the day. But
Mm-hmm.
then we have a photo walk that we call it sunrise and twilight.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, we always start 1 hour before sunrise. So
Nice.
if I am right, at the moment, the sunrise in Venice is at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
So we start at 6:30. So we get to take the first picture, and generally San Marco and the basin, with the electrical light
Nice.
switched on. And slowly, slowly, you have the blue light coming,
Of course.
the electrical light goes off, and then you have the sunrise.
And the
So
rubbish man coming and cleaning up. I
exactly,
think I think
that is
is the
more or
best
less
part
what's
of it.
there.
I love that. I used to work on one of the islands, San Clemente, and I remember I used to go and be on the
On
water
the water.
taxi, whatever, used to take
Yes,
us at about 6:30 in the morning. And it was
yes,
in Semar Square, it was us and the rubbish man. And it was
yes,
beautiful.
yes. It's
Some
like
rats,
dancing
maybe.
with the, yeah, yeah, yes, a few.
Couple of rats, a couple of pigeons.
Yes,
No, but it's beautiful. It's
yes,
the best light ever, I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
even better than the sunset.
But now, as I was saying, it's easy because you can start at 6:30.
Mm.
But in June, we start at 4 in the morning
Oh yeah, of course, because
because the sunrise is at 5.
you might as well sleep under the arches of the Doge's Palace.
I've got the impression, but let's not tell him that Stefano sometimes sleeps in the square. It's under somewhere, but I'm not sure. I will try to catch him during the next few months.
Yeah, I need to find that out. I'm pretty sure
Yes.
it is one of. No, we can't even say on a bench because there are no benches in
No, there are no
Venice.
benches.
No, but that's very good. I like this. And there are small groups, are they? You don't do big groups. They
No,
usually.
no, no. Our are very generally like individual or maximum 4 people.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's
Yes,
very
because
intimate.
that was my idea when I started, and I thought that was the best was to keep the group very, very small and generally maximum 2 friends or three,
Yeah.
four friends
Well,
maximum, or
this is
two
very
otherwise.
important because you're not just taking some people around. You have to explain exactly what they have to do. And if you
Yes,
need time to help them set up the camera, set up the
yeah,
position. And if you have too many people, the time goes by seconds. We're talking
and
about minutes to keep going,
yes,
and the
and
light
I think
disappears.
it's better for the guest, but I think my idea was a form of respect as well for the Venetian,
Hmm.
because if I stop on a bridge and it's me and another person, is okay. It's not great, but it's okay.
Yeah,
But if you stop on a bridge with 4 or 6 people,
of course.
you upset. You rightly so upset a Venetian because
Absolutely.
maybe
So
he's
can you
going to
imagine where they
work or
stop?
going to the chemist
And can
or
you imagine where they stop in 2025 and more?
again, let's not go there.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll give you the details of your of the photo tours later on.
Okay.
I want to go back to photography. I got a couple
Okay.
of questions, yeah, that as you were
Fire.
talking came up to me. First of
Yes.
all, digital versus reflex. How hard was it to switch? Pros and cons.
For me, to be honest, it was quite easy and natural. I've met several colleagues, even in Venice, that had serious, serious problem in switching from analogic to from film to digital, and
Mhm.
someone never did.
Okay.
I still shoot sometime with film, especially
Mhm.
if it's black and white. Uh, Advantages. You can take. And it is at the same time is an advantage and a disadvantage, depend how you use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an advantage because you can take more picture and the cost is less.
Of course.
Because with film, the camera was reasonably cheap, but the problem is the more picture you take, the more expensive it becomes.
Of course.
So digital will allow to make mistake, to take a few more pictures. Then the problem with this aspect is sometimes is abused, and even I'm talking about even professional photographer, sometimes they take hundreds or thousands of images. And to me, it doesn't make sense because at that point, I can even give my camera to my dog. And if my dog takes 1,000 pictures, I'm sure there is one good.
Yeah.
But that is not photography.
No, at that point, you might as well take a video and just
take
the frames out of the video.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In some way, as I told you, is cheaper. The disadvantage, in my opinion, is the image of a digital camera is more, let's say, clinical and perfect. And we become, everybody, one of the conversations say, oh, but there is noise. There is this famous noise. But, the film had grains and there was much more noise. And that was, in my opinion, was one of the main positive aspect. And it's nice because it gives some feeling. In fact, now there are filter and program that add noise to the image. And the other problem.
I remember my dad told me once when we were talking about, I've asked him how he felt, and he was along your way. He was like saying exactly the same things. I mean, he liked the digital because he said, it's so much cheaper for me to take photos. He's not a crazy one that goes around taking 1,000 photos, but he said it's so much easier. And he said, I simply switched from going and doing the post editing and whatever on film, I'm doing on a PC. Okay, but he said I still got to do all the editing that I was doing before, so he's seen it that way.
Yes.
But the first thing he said to me, but he finds digital metallic.
Yeah,
that's what he said to me.
Okay. And it's the same for me. It's very clinical and metallic, and the other one had much more feeling. And the other issue was with film. You had a camera, and the camera, if it was a good camera, lasted for years and years. I'm still using in film 2 cameras. One is as old as I am, and one is even older than me, and it's perfect.
Wow.
But the problem is there is no comparison with digital, because a digital camera, after, let's say, 2 years,
you have to change it.
You have to change it because all the major brands, they release a new camera every year.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't change it every year, but the second or maximum the third year, you have to change it because something becomes not compatible, because changing the battery is more expensive than the camera.
That's another thing. Batteries.
That is crazy. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Where, as I told you, I've got like I'm 3 and an M6. One is 1959 and one is 1954, and they are perfect. Never done any maintenance, and they work.
Listen, do you still find the film? Do we still produce the film?
Yes. Not as many as there were before, but there are quite a lot of film, and it's reasonably easy to find them and reasonably easy to develop. I don't develop the film myself. I know how to do it, but it takes too long. It takes in Venice is complicated for
the humidity and everything that doesn't help us.
No, but also how to get rid of the chemical.
Of course, yes. The acid and everything.
And yes,
so of course.
Yes, film is available.
And then I have another question.
Sure.
More or less along the same line. The arrival of mobile phones that are no mobile phones anymore, they should be called simply mobile cameras.
Yes.
So I don't think nobody uses the phone to actually make phone calls, but we just take photos. And I got to say, I think in the last year, I've realized I'm taking less and less pictures
Mhm.
compared to what I used to, because I kind of burnt out on it.
Yes.
And I'm not one of those people that take 20 photos for the same thing. And I never use filters.
Yes.
Which my dad always says, wow, well, you could do this. No, I said, Dad, look, this is the way I took it. That's the way it was. I leave to you professional to do that. Why should I go mess about? And that's the way I take photos, you know. But so the arrival of his phones. How many problems has caused you to you professionals? Where thousands of
Okay.
people every
Yes.
second take pictures.
I tell you my opinion. Generally, a lot of my colleagues are against the camera phone for many reasons. I think it is a positive aspect because life moves on. The way we live has changed and is a more democratic. When I was a kid and there was a school, I think in my classroom only 2 people who had cameras. And I think if I think back, it was unfair. Now in every classroom, people have got at least 2 cameras or 3 or 4 per person. And I think it's important and is a good way. The bad way are certain. One is this obsession with selfies. That one is something I don't understand. And it happened to me very, very often, even 5, 6 in the morning in San Marco. The square is beautiful and people are taking picture of themselves. And very often I told them, I say, why didn't you stay at home and take it in your bathroom or in your lounge? There is
from the window of the hotel.
Yes, so that is the obsession. And the other one is, again, to take too many pictures. And I think it's like in Venice, the people that go around with the map and they look at the map all the time to avoid to get lost, but they need to see Venice. And the other one is taking too many pictures and you need to see Venice.
Absolutely.
So I think there should be a balance in between, and maybe we will reach it in now or in a few years when people, let's say, maybe they get a little bit burnout or they change. Even Instagram is changing a lot.
Oh my God.
Before Instagram was just images, photographs. Now is more video like TikTok or something like that. So maybe we are seeing another change. So that is one aspect. The other aspect as a professional photographer is that very often people think, oh, I can take this picture, I don't know, for an hotel, a venue.
See, exactly.
Something.
Yeah, they think. Yeah.
And then they say very often, oh, the picture is not as good as yours. Or, but we live in strange times, and probably you as a guide or you can tell as well so many stories.
Well, I think that what's happening is photos has become, when before it was something special. Because, I look back, just to give you an idea, we did a reunion with something that we used to do 30, 40 years ago. I used to go to the mountains with the church and stuff. And we had like camping and things. And they published this book with all the pictures that were taken about 35 years ago. And, I was so excited. I said, okay, I'm definitely going to be in one of these. And I wasn't in any, because of course, what's happening is, as you were saying, not everybody had the camera. So not necessarily the days that I was in the mountain, there was somebody taking pictures. And even though I was disappointed, at the same time, it made me understand how special it was that these pictures were taken. Now we just take pictures for everything. I mean, literally everything. But at the same time, it is, how can I say, recording the life, this fast life. I don't like it. And as a blogger, I know that sounds strange. No, but but at the same time, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those. Obviously, when I'm in front of a plate of food, is my job. So but do you know how many times I go to a restaurant and I forget to take photos,
Yeah.
because if I'm enjoying the meal, all of a sudden it goes, oh darn,
Oh, I have to
I should
take,
take
yes.
photos, but then I think, hang on, I'm not here for work, I'm here because I'm enjoying myself. So
Yeah.
if I'm doing for work, it's work, but if I'm here
It's
to enjoy
different.
myself with my friends,
It's
tough
different,
luck.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the other aspect that you mentioned in some way that I forgot before was that before, because photography was something special, you were treasuring the
Yeah.
images you had
Yeah.
taken because
Yeah.
they were printed, they were on an album, or they were dia, and you would have projected them. Now we take so many pictures that are just in the memory of our phone. Very often we change the phone every year or every 2 years and we forget about this picture. So I think that where there are still images, and a lot of them, even 1800, there will be a time where maybe we will have in some way less images because they will be lost somewhere in an hard drive or
Yeah, of
on a
course,
phone,
on the
or
cloud or
how
something.
many,
Yeah.
yes, how many people, how many of us really print images?
Oh,
I
I don't
don't.
even
I
remember
don't.
last time I
Yes.
did, years ago.
So that is the negative aspect. That where
Yeah.
before it was something that you were treasuring and recording
Yeah.
and keeping forever to
Yeah.
pass even to your kids. Now
Marco,
you don't.
I didn't
You
think of this. If something happened like
Yes.
in the next couple of years where practically the internet disappeared,
Yeah.
in 100 years, they will have no photos
Yes.
unless they had and not even magazines and newspaper, because they're online too now.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh my God,
Exactly.
that is so scary.
That
Oh
is the
gosh,
problem.
didn't think of that. Oh God.
And also, like now we have been using for a long time, the main format is JPEG, JPG. But what if in 5 years, 10 years, the format changes?
Changes. Oh my God.
And then you will not be able to open it again. Where we still have picture of our grandfather or something
Of
printed in it.
course.
And also they were nicely printed and people were posing for a long time because going to a photographer and having a picture taken was something really special and unique. Now
Wow.
it's not. And this happened as well in working. When you go to someone, doesn't matter if it's famous or not, but maybe your agency send you to take a picture of someone. Now, because they are so used to the phone, the camera phone, they have no patience. So they want the picture be taken in 30, 40, 60 seconds. But that is not how it was. Before you were setting the light, setting the person. Even a picture for a passport was a big event.
Of course.
Now you must be straight, must be no light, no smile. And this is something that, in my opinion, for several reasons, and also for the introduction of the camera phone, is gone a little bit
Too far.
wild and too far.
Marco, let's talk about gossip now. I
Oh
want
my
to know,
God.
because you've been taking photos of some of the most famous people in the world. The most famous one that comes to mind?
Probably Her Majesty the Queen.
Okay, when was that?
Oh, I took a lot of them for several years, so I have
Okay.
a lot of images.
Did you actually
Probably,
get to near her, or you just taken it in the middle of a contest?
in the UK, generally the people that take a photograph on the royal is called Royal Rota, and is about 12, 13, 14 people. So I was part of the Royal Rota for several years.
Wow.
And you tend to meet her very, very often, like every time she's got an engagement. Very often she used to have an engagement once a day, at least, or more than. So you meet her, but you meet in a very professional way.
Of course. No,
Yes,
I totally realize
yes.
that.
And you are always at a decent distance, at least 5, 10 meters, something like that.
Ah, okay, but that's
But
pretty near.
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow. And somebody else is famous that you got to, that you remember particularly for something, some anecdote or something that happened, some curiosity.
Some curiosity. Prince Charles, I have several stories. Camilla, all the royal, and then,
Mm-hmm.
for example, President Obama, I took a picture in Downing Street.
Oh, wow.
Pope Francis, the present Pope,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of royals from around the world and a lot of politicians, probably
Uh-huh.
all of them, because
Cool.
when they were coming to the UK,
Yeah,
and a
of
few
course.
of celebrity, because sometime it happened that we are divided at Getty, we were divided between news photographer and entertainment photographer. So I
Ah,
was
okay.
working for news, but
Mm-hmm.
it happened that sometime one of the colleagues at entertainment maybe was away, so I was
Mm-hmm.
sent to take a picture of a premiere, always not paparazzi, always events.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I took picture from George Clooney to Madonna to, I don't know, somebody that I don't even know, but they are very famous because I don't follow the entertainment world. So
Yeah,
if
take a
somebody
picture,
look
but I
at
don't know
if
who.
somebody
I don't
look at
know who
my
you are.
website,
Sorry.
yeah, they can see them, but I don't know them. And actually, I took picture of George Clooney without I didn't have an idea who he was. And that
No
was not so
way.
many
Oh,
years ago. And I had
okay.
to
We talked
ask,
3 years ago.
no,
Okay.
not too many, not too many,
Oh,
not too many,
really?
not too
Oh,
many.
Marco.
Because I
Marco.
don't follow it very much. And I had to ask to one of my colleagues of the entertainment to say, which one is George Clooney?
No
And
way.
he told
Didn't he
me,
laugh at your face?
of course. And he told
Ah.
me, you have already taken his picture. But the problem
No,
was,
the
and this
best
is,
would have been if you went to George Clooney and said, excuse me, can you tell me what George Clooney is, please?
yes. But the worst was that then the day after there was another event with George Clooney, and I was sent again, and I said the same question: which one is George Clooney?
Oh,
And
yeah, because you didn't
my
know which one he
colleague,
was.
no, again, and my colleague said, Marco, we call your editor and we tell them, don't send him anymore. We prefer you stay home and we send a picture for you because you're pestering us. Because every 2 seconds I was knocking on their shoulder and say, which one is George Clooney? Which one is George Clooney? So I'm not an entertainment photographer.
You're now
End of the
paparazzo.
story.
You're now paparazzo. That's it.
No,
Nothing.
definitely not.
We send Stefano for those, okay?
Yes, probably.
Well, listen, Marco, it was so nice talking to you. So, if
No,
people want to book a photo walk with Stefano and Simone, or in any case, maybe when you're back, maybe with you as well,
maybe.
where do they need to go, or which website?
The website is venicephototour.com.
Very easy. And social media, can they find you or not?
All the social media is on the website. So
Okay,
there is
fantastic.
Instagram,
And so people, Marco is actually on Wikipedia. I checked this website before and I thought, I want to. I want to be on Wikipedia too. I thought, oh my God, now he's got a blue tick everywhere. He's my friend with a blue tick.
The friend with a blue tick.
Marcos, thank you so much. And listen,
Monica,
we definitely got to meet this
to
time
you
since
and
you're
to
back for so
everybody.
long. We'll go
Yes, of
for a
course.
drink or something.
Yes.
And
Some
thank you
cicchetti
because I
maybe.
know you're very busy and, I appreciate so much you talking to me and for Venice Talks.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you again for having me and thanks to everybody for listening.
Thanks. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, bye-bye.
A huge thank you to Marco for the lovely chat. You can find Marco at www.marcosecchi.com or at venicephototour.com, and then you can find Marco again on all social medias as Marco Secchi. Thank you again for listening. If you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me on my blog www.monicacesarato.com or at cookingvenice.com, and also on all social medias with the handle at Monica Cesarato and at Cooking Venice. Feel free to leave a comment or write to info@monicacesarato.com for more information about the people featured in the podcast or Venice. Bye bye!